Hello, let's discuss Carry On, number one in the Smn Snw trilogy by Rainbow Rowell, published in 2015. This is Smn Snw, chosen one, gonna take down the insidious humdrum from his. He's been in school for the last 6 or 7 years with the mage and his best buddies, and they've been battling. The insidious humdrum all this time, getting great adventures. He's got a roommate, a Baz, who is obviously a vampire and is evil and has tried to kill him on several occasions. And yeah, this is Harry Potter. this is this is a Rainbow Rowell herself, I think probably for legal reasons, says, oh, this is just an exploration of the chosen one idea, but really it's set in a magical school. This book, it's the very first in its series, does a ton of run up to fill you in on what were obviously Harry Potter books 1 to 5 or 1 to 6, which is a little bit tedious at the beginning, but it does settle down after massive amounts of backfilling to get you to the good part, which is the climactic, insidious humdrum mage kind of battle thing. This is one of these books where I was not particularly that interested in, just because I knew it was so heavily indebted to Harry Potter, and unfortunately the author of Harry Potter is a transphobe and is using all her considerable power and wealth to try and pick on trans people in general. So I don't know, it's so let's just take that as is. Rainbow Rowell, when she published this in 2015, probably before that as maybe some sort of kind of fan fiction. It's a spin-off. It was a novel within one of her other books, which I have not read, so I won't go into that. But it actually does the thing where it's like, okay, I'm taking characters and ideas from a different author, and I'm putting my own spin on them. And I do think she does do that. A part of it seems to be there's very much a thread in fan fiction of wanting to pair Harry Potter and Malfoy, and I particularly never saw it myself. That was never particularly a thing for me. I think Malfoy was always kind of a fairly insipid, unattractive character to me in that. So I didn't particularly see it. Luckily, Baz, as he is portrayed here, is far more interesting, and you can see how maybe you could see that Simon's obsession with Baz isn't quite just as a love interest. I'm going to put this down, especially since I've got my notes on here. So yeah, it does a fairly good job of turning things. And I mean, once you get into kind of the final conclusions of this book, there's definitely some commentary. There's very much commentary on the whole chosen one thing, and people that might want to push that narrative, and for what political or kind of reasons for like them wanting to get their own power very much comes up in there. I mean, the whole kind of enemies to lovers kind of thing that we're doing here with Smn Snw and Baz, a very dark, handsome, brooding vampire type. It's good. It's good in a very kind of PG-13 kind of way. It's funny that as a teenage boy, not necessarily one that was particularly interested in guys at that point, it wouldn't be PG-13. It would be a lot more sweaty and a lot more physical and awkward. And this is very much kind of that it's the sanitized thing. I think a part of that is the market. This is a YA book after all. We're not going to get explicit there. And also all the characters are pointedly over 18. That is pointed out at the beginning of this novel, and who knows, maybe it will become more of a thing later. It's very romantic. Let's just put it that way. It's a romantic thing put together by a woman who I believe is straight or straightish, or is in a relationship with a guy. So it's got that slight um, the is it the kind of the fiction where you teen girls enjoy reading books about kind of sexless gay guys, and it's just like it's for a market, it's for a certain market, which isn't to say it isn't fun, like isn't fun there. So yeah, that that is okay. um it is definitely the first book in a trilogy. I don't love how Raoul is obviously kind of putting off certain revelations at the end. Kind of makes Simon seem like an idiot, like he doesn't actually realize what's happened, or maybe it is just a really um, good example of someone who's been sucked in and kind of very cult-like, has been programmed a certain way, and it's going to take a while for that to that programming, that like you're going to take, realistically, yeah, you get out, it's getting outside of a cult, or you've been raised in something like that. It's going to take a while afterwards for you to go, oh, oh, that really was fucked up, oh man, I was really taken advantage of, kind of that sort of thing. But it does make for somewhat of a kind of a flat climax. There's a physical climax at the end, but there's not a mental kind of emotional climax at the very end of the book for Simon. I mean, people get together and that's all very satisfying, but eh. um I enjoyed the some of the other characters in the book, especially the two girls, young women, Penelope and Agatha. um Penelope is very much kind of a Hermione figure in her way, um, which is interesting when you're reconfiguring it as a relationship between Simon and Baz. How that kind of leaves uh, Penelope as kind of a third wheel. I actually appreciated Agatha. I know some people were not that thrilled with Agatha and what she kind of decides on this thing. She, there's a whole like, oh, this is a whole world and exciting, and there's an audience member who's like, of course I'd go into this, but maybe if you're actually living in that world, you'd be like, nope, nope, I am out of here. And I kind of respect that they have that character in there, and they don't make her seem cowardly or shitty because of it. To try and keep it as vague as possible. This book that is now 10 years old. I figured I'd just stop here at this book to just sort of say, oh, okay, I enjoyed it. It's definitely, it says it's 522 pages, which is like, I guess either it read quickly, and also it's a whole ton of quick chapter breaks. We're jumping from perspective to perspective to perspective. So I imagine a lot of that 522 pages is maybe wide spacing because it's a YA book, and also blank chapter breaks to kind of bulk it up or something like that, because is does not it's it does not seem that much. It is very much a book that is, I appreciate that, like, after the kind of massive world building dump at the beginning, we've got to fill you in on all of these characters' kind of history for the last 6 years, and all the kind of magical history. The name of the book, Carry On, is, I believe, from the Kansas song Carry On, Yo, My Wayward Sons, or Don't You Cry No More. It's like kind of, it uses, we're using magic as a thing of like, these are expressions with power, that the more people say them, the more, as a magic user, they'll have power to use them. um so I enjoy that they kind of build in some okay kind of magical stuff, and kind of, here's the world, piggybacking off of the Potter series, but also coming up with their own spins on things, just the power structure and how people want to do stuff. I enjoyed all that, while also trying to keep it a teen drama. And the teen drama is probably the more the psychology that you were keeping very tight focus on each of these adolescent, I'm going to call them adolescent characters, POVs. So we get the hints very carefully dotted throughout the thing, but it is a focus on these characters, and I liked them. I liked the characters. I cared for them. Simon is such a gorgeous lunkhead. I can see there's always that thing of like, why was Harry Potter so special in sort of casting Simon in this kind of gay romance. It's like, well, he's kind of super hot in a way, if I can sound not too creepy as an older guy reading this book. He is kind of super hot, and a part of him being such a lunkhead kind of makes him sexy as well, as much as Baz being kind of intelligent and sharp in that kind of romantic kind of rebel kind of way also makes him attractive, probably to the whatever, all the multiple target audiences that could be for this book. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Carry On. I will carry on with the novel and read the other ones. It's fun, kind of candy floss, candy, cotton candy for the brain. And I really appreciate that sort of stuff. I might even Rainbow Rowell. I might even go to something outside of this kind of borrowed universe into her own stuff. That might also just be fun to do. But yeah, I have to say, at the end of the day, if you've really got trouble with HP, or HP's author, if that's a thing that's kind of a sticking point, I can understand why this might not be something that you'd want to dip into. However, it does subvert, it does comment on, maybe points out some slightly fascistic kind of tendencies within the original work, which, fuck you, JK. All right, I am going to leave it there. More videos later.